everybody. So I am back with Finn. We thought that we would do a video that everyone needs in life at some point. Finn is huge, but he's a big baby about water puddles. I just found that out when I was riding him in the outdoor arena, and he decided that he was going to scope it out about halfway across the ring, and this is a really big ring. So I'm doing this a little bit differently than I normally would, and at some point I might have to get off, but usually I would work, if I know the horse is a big baby about puddles, I would work him on the ground, get him through it on the ground, and then start to build it up in saddle. But this just came upon me, and I'm going to try to do it a little bit more of the harder way, because let's pretend that Finn and I were on a trail ride. I wouldn't have a carriage whip, I wouldn't have a lunge line, and I wouldn't be able to handle it from like a trainer's perspective. So we'll torture myself and make it a little bit harder, and we're going to do it in saddle. So let's pretend that we are on a trail in the middle of nowhere and we come across a mud puddle. Number one, Finn's just a little sticky when it comes to legs anyway, because he is a big black Clydesdale. He doesn't have that get up and go that the little Arabians got, which is good. So I need to make sure that he's going a little bit forward, but the thing is where people screw up the most is when it comes to listening to your horse. And that's the same way with trailer loading, going over any desensitizing things that they're scared of. You really have to be a good horseman and be able to read your horse, number one, to keep you safe, but then number two, he's telling you something and you need to be a strong enough horseman to understand. So I know a lot of people that right now would kick him for dropping his nose down or pick up his legs and add leg to encourage him. That'd be the worst thing that you could do, because every time that he drops down and looks at it is him acknowledging it. And after I do start to put some pressure on him at some point, you're gonna see him drop down and like full step and do this, and he's acknowledging it. He's telling you that basically, look, I really want to try to do this. I'm looking at it, I'm trying, but I'm terrified. So the absolute worst thing that I could do at that time is to add pressure and make him feel like he's wrong for trying. So it's really about knowing when to pick up pressure and add pressure and when to back off. And 9 times out of 10 in a situation like this, you're gonna back off more than people would think. Good. And then I want to build his confidence. So once I start going and stop talking your ear off, once I can get him a couple steps in there, I'm going to turn and walk him away, because I want to show him that I will remove you from the situation. You don't have to get scared and remove yourself from it, but then I'm going to reward you for trying. So I do have to be careful that he doesn't try to lay down in it, because that does happen, and Finn is actually wanting to lay down in a roll today because he's got sweaty. But then if he paws in it, that's fine. It's going to make a mess of everything, but just know that if he starts to paw, you might have about 5 seconds later, he might try to lay down. So just so you know. Number one, coming from somebody that teaches horses to lay down, if that happens, or let me tell you what the signs for that is, if he drops down and you start to feel him get a little light in the front end and he starts to kind of like buckle a little bit, good chance he's going down quick. Okay, so if he does that, what do? You just got to pull up his head like that, and then you kick him to get him to go forward. Especially if they're like halfway buckled, you better pull up and kick quick, because he's going down. If you don't make the timing, it's really no big deal. If they're going down, just take your feet out. Make sure that your feet are really, really, really wide. That's what's going to get you hurt. And stay back. Your horse is going to lay down and roll in between your legs, and then you kick yourself off. Or be ready to ride it back up. 9 times out of 10 it won't happen, just ride out of it. Alright, so enough of that. Let's talk to Finn about getting through the mud puddle. So I've nonchalantly been letting him kind of walk around it and size it up and look at it. The problem is just like his owner said, she goes, he's got puddles in his field and he'll walk through it all day long, but this is not his puddle. This is not his home puddle, this is a different puddle. To him, this looks like literally a big black hole. And if you, since you're on my Patreon, if you scroll back, I literally do have a whole video where I show you what the horse sees. And I took some stuff off of YouTube, and it shows you exactly what the horse sees. It shows you exactly how they see this puddle. But to them, this is a huge black hole. So I'm basically, it looks like I'm doing nothing, but I'm doing a lot. I'm letting him build his own confidence to the point where he's now starting to play in the water. He has to see and realize on his own that this isn't a hole, he's not going to fall into it, that there's actually ground underneath it. So while he keeps playing with and encouraged, I'm going to leave him alone. And at this point, we're not on husband time, we are on horse time. And there's a reason I'm still single, because horse time means a lot more to me than husband time. So we're going to take the time that it takes. You know, his lesson was technically supposed to be over, but if it takes me another half hour to get him through the puddle, I'm going to take a half hour to get him through the puddle, because that's just what happens. So as long as he stays encouraged and he's not afraid, I'm just going to hang out, rub him. Good. And then after, because if I let him, he'll sit here all day long. So after he starts to lose attention like that, that's my cue that he feels safe. I can get him to go forward. Now they will play this game. They will quickly learn that, oh, if I just put my head down and act like I'm, you know, acknowledging it, she'll leave me alone. So I'll only let him do that for a little bit, and then they got to give me at least another step or two to try. Okay, so there you go. So you're gonna see me go left and right a lot. So a horse gets very one-sided the way that they think. So a lot of times if I want him to go into that puddle and I can't turn him to the left, you'll see me pick up and turn him to the right really quick and then go right back to the left. Because basically what I'm saying is he will put his mind to it and say, like, I'm not going to the left, I'm not going to the left. So I'm gonna just use a little bit of right hand and say, but would you go to the right? And he's such a good guy. He'll be like, yeah, I'll go to the right. Fantastic, let's go to the right. So we take 2 steps to the right and say, well, what about left now? Yeah, sure, I'll go to the left. Because he wouldn't go left there. But odds are I can get him to go left there, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're gonna encourage him to go forward a little bit more. Like, here you go. So I call it walking him out. So if you see me like kind of go left, right, I'm just kind of like walking him out and kind of trying to get him to unlock a little bit. I love that he likes to play with it. A lot of horses, you do have to be careful that they might like touch the water and go leaping out of it or into it. So again, long story short, to stay safe through this, even though I'm letting him drop his head down and it looks like I'm not paying attention, I promise I've done this my entire life. The minute this horse even pops his head up and gets like hot, you're gonna see me go whoop right away. I've got my reins. I'm gonna stay back and you put your heels down. If you stay here and you have them, there's a good chance you can ride through 90% of everything. The only time you're ever going to lean forward on a horse when something's going wrong is if they're rearing. And when they rear, you come up with them and you come right back down when they're back on the ground. So, let's try that again. Oh, he's really milking this out, isn't he? Good. Alright. And then we're going to let him walk out of it. So for his reward, I'm going to leave him alone and let him walk and just make that easy and simple. Let's say that he's being really kind of naughty about it. Not because he's scared, because he's being a jerk and he doesn't want to do it. Then you would do this mind game. I'd take him and I would work him over there. Whoop. We're gonna die. We don't edit anything on Patreon. Here you go. This is all. Let's put this in the blooper reel. Okay. So back to business. So see what I'm at? Yeah. As soon as something goes wrong, you tighten up your reins. You sit back and you're ready. Okay. So let's say he's kind of being naughty, and it's because he's just being kind of a jerk and he doesn't want to do it. I would then switch the game. I would take him and I would work him over there and make that the hard space, and then you can come back and you can relax over here. And I would keep doing it and make him think like, okay, this is happy land. You want to be over there, you're going to work. So you'll quickly change their mind about hanging out by that water puddle. Good? Okay, So I'm gonna walk him up to it like it's no big deal. Good. So I got him go to the right. He's gonna get picky. I'm gonna walk him out, go to the left. Kind of ask him to hang out in it for a quick second. That. And then okay. So we're just gonna do that one more time, but this time I'm waiting for him to just kind of walk through it. Don't second guess it. So I'm gonna put a little bit more pressure on him this time to kind of just keep walking. Now, the problem is I went through the puddle going the other way, not this way. This is a whole different town. There we go. Okay. So then, there you go. And then I would just keep going. So then, as time goes on, I would ride away and then come back, and he might be not confident about it again, and then just over time you can go walk away and go up to another one. So I'm going to torture myself with just a little bit more. There's another one over here, so I'm just going to try to walk him forward. He hasn't even ridden back here yet, so he's going to be looking at everything anyway. And again, we're randomly on a trail ride in the middle of nowhere, and I don't want to get off because I don't have a monoblock. What am I ever going to do? Ride my horse. So he's scared of the round pin panels more than he is of the puddle. Which might actually work out to my benefit, I don't know. Because he's going to be so freaked out about the round pin panels that he's not going to notice the water as much. That's either a good thing or a bad thing. Oh, yeah, there's water here too. Fantastic. Good. I'm going to let him look at it. So I'm going to be patient with this side, but not as patient. Because we just did it there. So now you know what a water puddle is. I know you're not afraid of water. There's also grass in it, which makes it even better. Because anything that will feed them won't kill them. Fantastic. Oh, there you go. I've made every man's heart. Okay, so we're going to go forward to the other grass in the middle. And we purposely planted this grass in the middle of the mud puddle. No, I wish, but no. We designed it so they have to walk and go further. Follow me for more tips and tricks. Okay, so this comes to a point where you know when to stop while you're ahead. So I got a successful ride out of him today. We ended the lesson with kind of conquering some big things. I can keep going and make him miserable, or instead, everybody knows in the horse world, you stop while you're ahead to make it a good, solid lesson, but then you kind of want to stop before something goes wrong, because then you're back out here for another 2 hours trying